guys, how's it going? Thank you for watching, clicking on this video. Today, I don't have gum for these type of videos. I usually do gum, but I have some coffee, some in a Colorado mug. I think it's because my brother, I think we have this mug because I think my brother went to Colorado, I think it was last year, with his wife, and they brought back my dad a mug because my dad always collects mugs. But that's besides the point. So that was just a little side tangent, but what you actually clicked on this video for was hopefully for some relaxing rambles, and hopefully you guys are gonna be relaxed from this video and fall asleep. I don't normally do this, but I don't have gum, so I gotta make y'all fall asleep some other way. Alright, so I have my notes over to the side, which is why I'm gonna be turning my head. But I will be ranking. Now this is gonna be ranking the Marvel movies. One of y'all a subscriber requested that I rank the Marvel movies and then rank Marvel movies and then the DC movies, the different cinematic universes. So I'm gonna start with Marvel because more people are familiar with Marvel, and that way I can split them into two different videos, because it would be honestly like an hour and 30-minute long video probably if I did both, and I can talk for that long, but I don't want to edit for that long. So I'll just try and make this like a good 40-minute or so video talking about all the different movies. It may only be 20 minutes, we'll see how long I can talk and ramble about this, and then I'll do the different video, and then I'll do a different video about the DC the DC movies. I'm sorry. I'm more familiar with DC like animated shows, but I do watch a lot of their animated films, and I have seen a lot of their live action films. But let's go ahead and get into this. So how I broke this up, because as you know, Marvel has been making movies they've been making movies for a very long time, but in the last, I would say about 10 to 12 years. It started in 2008, so probably closer to, 2008. So that's like 15 years, right? Roughly, or no, don't quote me, but yeah, I think it's that's 18 years. Or no, I'm stupid. 15 years. Shut up. 15 years they've been doing this. Where they've been, releasing movies and stuff like that. So the first one that they released, that's a part of the Infinity Saga, which is going to be Phase 1. That is Iron Man. Now, I broke up the different phases and the ones that I like the most from those phases, because when I actually look at the list, I can actually screen cap the list and show you, but it literally, the list is so long, I couldn't rank all these different movies. One video would be so long. If you want me to do a part 2, I will, because a lot of the ones that I like that didn't make it into my list, I'll do as honorable mentions from this video. But if you guys really like this video, like and comment and subscribe, then I will do a second part 2 of this video, and then do the DC movies. So in Phase 1, I've liked Iron Man is my top one, and that's because I remember being a kid in the theater. I was 9. Okay, I was born in 99, so in 2008 I'm 9 years old. So I'm 9 years old, I'm in the theater, I'm watching this whole movie, and then at the very end of the movie they have Black Sabbath Iron Man, that guitar riff. I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I'll do it. I'm not gonna do it. Just look up Black Sabbath Iron Man and then listen to that guitar riff. Coolest. That's what sold me on Marvel. As a kid, I've always liked Spider-Man and all of that, but as a kid, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, that's a whole different video, but it's not a part of the MCU, which is why I'm not mentioning it as a part of the ranking. But if that was included in the ranking, then I think it's easier to do MCU, because if you include all Marvel movies, because then that means we have to include X-Men, Spider-Man, and what else? Just X-Men and Spider-Man. I think it's completely different universes. Tobey Maguire is now included. Now they're included because of No Way Home. Now the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire movies are included in the MCU, but the first major movie that I remember selling me on the concept of MCU is Iron Man, which is why I have that. That's like Iron Man 1 is probably like one of my top favorites. I can't come up with an exact favorite Marvel movie because there's so many of them that I really, really like. Iron Man is like the first impactful Marvel movie. I think if you listen, if people who are very like, who grew up, because as you've been watching these movies, or I've been watching these movies, a lot of times you kind of grow up with the character, like with each movie being released. You can remember a different point in your stage of your life. Like when I was a teenager, when all of those movies were coming out, which Marvel, no, I'm sorry, Avengers was released, and that's actually my 3. But my second favorite is definitely Thor. Just because, again, it's impactful. It's an arrogant son. Now, I mean, I could explain if I explain the plot, what I liked from every movie, we're gonna be here all day. Now, I kind of jump around a little bit, but we'll just finish up Iron Man. What I like about Iron Man is, it's this rich, arrogant dude who, like, gets kidnapped by a bunch of terrorists, and he has to figure a way out of that situation. And not only does he have to figure out a way out of that situation, he is so, like, mechanically engineered, like, minded and smart and all that. He builds a suit, a jetpack suit, and then he's like, that's actually a really good idea. Why don't I, like, revolutionize it? And, like, revolutionize it. Why don't I improve on that idea? And then, like, keep going. Which, the scene, if you guys haven't seen Iron Man 1, I'm about to spoil, like, a major scene. So, all of this is spoilers, by the way. I'm not gonna hold back. If you haven't seen all these MCU movies, like, if you haven't seen all of them and you get spoiled with one of them that I bring up, that's shame on you, because you should have been watching them all, okay? You should have been watching them all. Anyways, so, there's a really impactful scene in Iron Man 1 where he comes out of the cave with the suit on, and then he just mows everyone down with a flamethrower. As a kid, as a 9-year-old, I was like, that's badass. I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. So I thought that, and then he just shoots off into the sky. Yeah, he lands in a pile in sand, and then he has to gather up all the materials and stuff and drag it back to his house where he's gonna work on everything. Obviously, whatever, right? But, it's funny. Anyways, so yeah, Iron Man, and then Thor. Another story of, like, a person that becomes humbled. Iron Man, I mean, there's a bunch of different, like, aspects of that, but I like when it's like it's kind of like the first couple of movies, they're like arrogant men being humbled. Even Avengers 1 is like Loki. There's a lot leading up to why Loki feels the way that he does, right? But even Loki has a sense of arrogance and pride that he gets, that, like, he has to get constantly humbled in, like, almost every movie. Almost forgot about my coffee here. But no, so then you have Thor. Arrogant dude. They were at once at war with the Frost Giants, but then there's this treaty. So then one of the Frost Giants break in and they try and steal something from Asgard's safe. But they have this big metal dude called the Destroyer that the King of Asgard has control over. And he vaporizes these Frost Giants. And then that leads Thor to go to the Frost Giants. What is it called? Is it Jotunheim? Different realms. They're planets, but they call them realms. Oh, what realm is this? Because there's Elfheim, Jotunheim, Midgard, which is Earth, Asgard. There's 9 of them. But I think it's Jotunheim. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Ice Giants, you can tell I'm a nerd, I'm pretty sure the Ice Giants realm is called Jotunheim, which is just this ice planet. It's basically Hoth, but a planet. And Hoth from Star Wars, but a planet. I mean, Hoth is also a planet. But you get what I'm trying to say. It's populated with giants, not big furry creatures. Anyways, so they land there, and then they're like, kill as many of you as I can. So yeah, that's what happens, and then that basically he gets expelled from Asgard because of that, and then he has to go through this whole journey of like, because the whole point of Thor is like a good king. What does I call it? A good king always goes to war when it's necessary, but like a wise king knows how to avoid it. I'm butchering that, I know, but the general sentiment is that, a good king will always go to war when it's absolutely necessary, but a wise king knows how to avoid war because, you better be like not just a good king, but you'd rather be a wise king because you can't always go to war with other nations and stuff because you're putting your people at risk too. It's kind of like you can't just go to war all the time and solve all your problems. You have to learn how to be peaceful. That fundamental change is really important for like Thor's growth as a character. But then you have the Avengers. Now, you do have the Avengers, which they're all coalescing, and you're like, Brian, what about Captain America: First Avenger? I'm not a big fan of that movie, and I know a lot of you are gonna be like, come on, bruh. No, I'm not a huge fan of that movie because the whole thing where he goes on that, okay, I like it in the beginning, and then up until the point where they're like, he starts going on those tours, those USO tours, and like with the girls and stuff, and he's performing. I like immediately after that point where he's like fighting and he's trying to do more, but it feels like so much of the movie is like, in the beginning he's getting his ass beat because he's skinny, and then after that he becomes really big and strong, and then he makes a name for himself, but then he's just a figurehead, and then he becomes a figurehead, and then he becomes like an actual legend because he fights Red Skull, and then he like sinks the plane, whatever they had, that big plane that was gonna like bomb or set fire to the country, whatever the plan was, I forget. He had to basically sink it into the ice to save the world, is the idea. So I feel like the movie is like, okay, he like becomes really awesome, and then he becomes like a USO boy, which spoils the movie for me a little bit. Not in like an actual way, I think it's still a good movie, but like, it's like, this is where we see our character, and then it moves up, then here's when he becomes epic, and then the movie ends with like some kind of either resolution or like, now at the very end you do realize he wakes up and then he meets Nick Fury and all that, like that. I think it's either the end credit scene or directly like right before the end credit scene. But I like the movie in general, but that little, it's like, I like more action than just, I don't know, that little part feels weird to me, and I don't know if you guys feel the same, but that's why I don't put it on the favorites list. Same thing with well, not same thing, but The Incredible Hulk. I really like The Incredible Hulk movie that came out around this time. His fight with Abomination, if you know, you know. That junk is awesome. The whole movie, I've actually rewatched it recently. It's really good, but I don't like it as much as I like Iron Man, and I don't like it as much as I like Thor, and I don't like it as much as I like Avengers 1, because Avengers 1 is when you first see them all culminate together. And like, I'm gonna make a reference, and if you don't understand it, then shame on you, but if you understand it, but where this movie reference was from, it's like, and all the little cogs mashed together. Because I think the beginning of the quote was, he goes, if you get that one line, you can understand the movie. He goes, and all the little cogs mashed together. And then he does this hand motion. And he's like, a cog needs to be clean, well lubricated, and wound tight. Where is that from? I've said enough to where if you've seen that movie, it's a Disney Pixar movie, okay? That should be enough of a clue. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, so yeah, so Avengers 1, then the honorable mentions for that, like I said, are Captain America phase 1, okay? This is 15 minutes in, and I just finished phase 1, okay? Buckle down, because I don't know how long I'm gonna talk. Alright, so I hope you have popcorn or something. I forget this coffee's even here, bro. This is a true whisper ramble, okay? This is a true whisper ramble. Now, side note, for those of you who actually don't care, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I have the coffee, so it doesn't make any noise, and unnecessary noise. I'm doing this for you guys. That's why I care. I have it on paper towels, so whenever I set it down, it doesn't make any noise. And I'm gonna watch this back, and hopefully it doesn't make any noise. Otherwise, I did that for no reason. Anyways, so for phase 2, I'm not a huge fan of phase 2. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you want to know what phase 2 is, that ran. Okay, so phase 1 ran from 2008 to 2012, and then the movies released from 2013 to 2015 is phase 2. I'm not a huge fan of Iron Man 3. I'm not a huge fan of Thor Dark World. I'm not a huge fan of Age of Ultron or Ant-Man, which is why none of that's on the list. My favorite movies from phase 2 are Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America Winter Soldier. I can't tell you too much about Captain America Winter Soldier because I have to rewatch that movie. I don't remember a lot of the details. Basically, I kind of skimmed through, the movie just to see if I could remember anything. I remember they run into Bucky some kind of way. And I also remember that he sees his girlfriend from the first movie. She's apparently still alive, and she dies, I think. And he watches her die. Other than that, I don't remember anything. So, but I remember really liking it. I remember leaving that movie. I remember me, my brother, and my dad, we all collectively had a feeling of like, that was a good movie. That was epic. Now let's see See, like, I like every Captain America movie after that. Like, I like Civil War. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the first one, I'm just not a huge fan of. If I have, because when I go back and rewatch all the Marvel movies, I didn't include ones that I specifically avoid because I don't care about watching certain scenes. And I don't like skipping through stuff because I want to rewatch the whole movie again. Even if I don't like a scene, I think it's cringy or I don't like the jokes, I always rewatch those parts because it feels like skipping it is cheap for me. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. Let me know. Alright, so Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt, hilarious. Bradley Cooper is Rocket, hilarious. What's his name? Oh, I can remember his name. He plays Drax. What's his name? Oh, what is the dude's name? He was in that. I'm blanking on his name. Oh, whatever. The dude that plays Drax, hilarious. Vin Diesel as Groot. I can't even believe that they have to do some kind of like voice changer thing for him because I don't even hear Vin Diesel when he goes, "I am Groot," whatever. That movie is just hilarious. What's really funny in that movie is Rocket. Rocket's my favorite Guardian of the Galaxy. He always has been. Chris Pratt in the beginning, I thought it was a tad cringy, but I still liked his jokes. I never watched. He was in Parks and Rec, right? I think so. I've never seen that show. Well, I've watched like the first episode, but I've never seen it long term enough to know his jokes and all that stuff. So I don't really care. But he's still funny. He's still a funny guy. But then you have Rocket. He goes like, okay, because they're talking about the plan. This is something that I love in the movie. So they're talking about the plan for everyone to escape, right? And then he's like, okay, what I'm gonna need, he's like, we're gonna have to do this. He's giving the details of the plan, and in the background you can see Groot, because he says, I need the battery. The thing behind me, there's a thing that contains a battery, and I need this battery. Groot hears that, and then he's slowly in the background, you see him starting to try to do that. And then as he starts to tell the plan, he's like, okay, we cannot execute this plan until, that is the last thing we need to get, because it will set off this alarm, and then all the guards will be on our butts and stuff like that. But then as soon as he says that, he pulls out the battery and he gets the battery. And he's like, here you go. And he's like, okay, I guess we'll do this, and then we'll do that first, and then we'll improvise the rest. But one of the things that Rocket said he needs to escape is he's like, I need to get into that control tower, get this battery, and I need that dude's leg. And like, what's funny is Chris Pratt's character, Quinn, or Quill, one of the two, Quill, I think it's Quill, Peter Quill, I think is his name. He goes, and then he's like, yeah, so, he tries to explain to the guy why he needs his prosthetic leg. But Rocket was just joking and fucking around, because he's like, I don't need his leg. And he's like, dude, I had to spend 30,000 credits, dude. I still laugh at that scene. That scene's hilarious. Rocket continues to be my favorite character, even in Guardians 3. Oh, if you've seen Guardians 3, then you understand the pain. Anyways, so, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Like I said, I like that movie. Don't remember too much about it, except for what I've already talked about. So that's Phase 2. Honorable mentions for Phase 2. If I had to mention them, I liked Age of Ultron, I like Ant-Man, and I like Dark World, and I like all those movies, but my favorite out of the ones I didn't mention is probably, I don't know, it'd have to be probably Age of Ultron, then Iron Man 3, then Ant-Man, and then Dark World at the bottom. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then we're going to move on to Phase 3, which I realize that most of the movies I like are in Phase 3, because that was, okay, so it was 2013 to 2015 was Phase 2. Phase 3 is 2016 to 2019. And so Phase 3, my favorites are Captain America Civil War is my first one that I have on that list. And the reason why is because they bring in Spider-Man, but they also bring in, like, it's where you kind of culmination to the new Avengers, but they're all fighting each other, so it's kind of getting a little bifurcated. But what's funny is, what I remember of Civil War, you guys will have to actually tell me if you guys did the same thing. I remember that there was this promotional poster that came out before the movie was released, and it had everyone on Iron Man's team and then everyone on Captain America's team, and everyone looked at that and they're like, bro, everyone on Iron Man's team will whoop everyone on Captain America's team. And I remember I was having a discussion with my brother and all my friends in Discord before that movie came out. I was basically talking like, bro, yeah, I understand, and everyone on, because the whole reason that we were thinking that is because Vision is on Iron Man's team, and Vision, Spider-Man, but then it's like, okay, but then you have Ant-Man on Captain America's team, and I'm pretty sure, but then you had Black Panther, wasn't he? Well, was he on? I'd have to put up the poster, but recalling it from memory is kind of hard. But I remember that was a good moment, because it was we're kind of shooting the shit and talking about funny, nerd stuff. Excuse me. Anyways. Okay. The next one that I have is Doctor Strange. Like I said, one of my favorite movies are it's not just a good guy becoming good or better, because that's the whole thing about Captain America is he was already a good guy, but he just became capable to help the country and everything. It's good guys will do good stuff, but what I like stories where there's a tragic fall, and arrogant people have to be humbled and become better because they realize there's a greater purpose than themselves, and they have to become greater than themselves. I like stories that reflect something about human nature, that we have to become better than what we are, and you can't just think that you're arrogant and that you're the best. working on something. So he became like a celebrity doctor. So he's like, I don't really want to do every single thing that comes to my office. So, but then on a way to like, he won some kind of award, or like he was gonna go to some kind of gala or something. He gets into a car accident. His hands get busted. He gets so much experimental treatment and so much surgery done to them, they're barely operable. He's basically like a Parkinson's person. Like, his hands aren't steady anymore. And you have to have steady hands to be a surgeon. Duh, you don't want someone doing heart surgery and they're like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's his way of his making money. He has a huge fall from grace, and then he meets this bald lady, and he's like, what do you mean there's no such thing or whatever? And he tries to put hands on her, and he like astral projects him, and then she's like, open your mind, and that scene is freaking epic, because then he goes through multiple dimensions, and he's like, how do I learn what you do? Like, how do you? But then she kind of like, it's kind of cool, because she's like, oh, the power to heal you, the power for you to heal you, was it within you all along or whatever. But that all started because he met this guy that like he became like not paralyzed or something. But like I said, I like stories where it's like fall from grace, and then there's a redemption arc, and then they learn from their mistakes, and then they have to elevate themselves past, they have to elevate themselves. I'm shaking the camera. They have to elevate themselves, and to become something greater, they have to become greater for themselves, but also for the greater good, because there's something bigger than them and their problems. And like Doctor Strange really emulates that, because once he understands the universes and the multiverse and all that, he's like, yeah, my earthly problems aren't that big of a deal anymore, and he's like a completely different person. Now, the next one I have on the list is Guardians Volume 2. The reason I like Guardians Volume 2 is because there's just a lot of unanswered questions in Guardians 1. At the end of Guardians 1, they're like, hey, wasn't it a good idea that we didn't bring him to his dad like he paid us to? And he was like, yeah, because basically, Peter Quill's dad is Ego, which is a living planet, and apparently when you do research on Ego, you're like, there's a whole lore about him being a living planet, and the way they represent him in the movie is not exactly how he's been represented in the Marvel universe, but it's not like it's inaccurate, it's just different. It's just an indifferent interpretation. I've never talked for this long straight before without like gum or some type of eating. Because even in I think even in my drinking coffee videos, I usually chew gum too, but I could be wrong. Let me know. Anyways, so yeah, he meets his dad, realizes his dad's a psychopath. His dad killed his mom because he wouldn't have left Earth because he fell in love with his mom, Peter Quill's mom. So he put a tumor in his mom's head, so then that way he wouldn't have a reason to come back to Earth, because he wants this to expand his existence to the whole universe. So yeah, he's a screwed up guy. Yeah, he's a screwed up guy, so I guess that's the whole thing. Then the next movie... Okay, 1 second. Alright, so then the next movie, Thor Ragnarok. So Thor Ragnarok, and this is all phase 3. God damn. Alright, so Thor Ragnarok, is basically like, out of all the Thor movies, even after the most recent one, this is like my favorite, because Thor Ragnarok is his sister comes back and tries to basically takes over Asgard, and it's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna conquer all the 9 realms, because she's a crazy person. And Odin, he was like, how like a wise person, he never wanted to seek out war again, but after their whole city of gold. He's like, that's enough gold. Let's stop conquering the Nine Realms. That's funny. But yeah, so that's what happens there. And then Thor gets yeeted to coincidentally the same planet that Hulk disappeared to after Age of Ultron. Because after Age of Ultron, he was in the Quinjet, and then he turned off the guiding system, or he turned off Natalie, Black Widow, because she was like, the sun's getting real low. Come on, Bruce, you're gonna have to like land the Quinjet, or we can't track you if stealth is on. And apparently they all landed up at the same planet, which is weird. Coincidence? I think not. It's also from the same movie I quoted earlier. Someone has to get it. If you guys don't get it, I'm gonna be very disappointed. So then, Endgame. That's all I really care about with Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. And then they have to destroy Asgard. Asgard's not a place, it's a people. And then blah blah blah, whatever. I mean, it's a good movie. I like it a lot. It's really funny. It's more funny than it is action. Like, it is action, but there's a lot of funny jokes in it. And the action's kind of like clustered up at the end, which I don't mind. And then you have Endgame, end of Phase 3. Endgame, I think, is an underrated movie. I think people don't like Endgame. People that don't like Endgame, it's like, well, why don't you like? I like it because it's the culmination of everything you've been watching for, at that point, 12 years. And you're like, everything I've been watching for 12 years has finally culminated to this one movie, and it's epic. Alright, so now I'm going to go through the honorable mentions for each phase that I haven't mentioned, because this is a 33-minute video, and I'm probably going to talk for maybe a few more minutes. But this video is going to go up today. Today is the Saturday, right? Hold on. Saturday, July 29th. It's going to go up today. I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait to post it. I'm probably going to do this video and then another video. Daggum. I'm going to do this video and then probably another video. So then that way, like, I can have 2 videos uploaded this week. So then that way I can keep my, train going. But, if you've made it this far into the video, please, if you aren't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you guys can get all my notifications whenever I upload, because I do upload pretty regularly. If not twice a week, then once a week. But I am uploading on a weekly basis, so please, hit that like button and subscribe and comment and help out the channel. I will be doing, as a side note, before I get to the honorable mentions, I will be doing a ASMR live stream for when I hit 1,000 subs. So if you want to see that, go ahead and hit subscribe. Because I'll be doing I might do it for an hour or 2 hours or however. It just doesn't matter. I mean, it depends on how many people are going to show up. And then also, how many questions you guys have and what we're going to talk about. It is going to be an ASMR live stream. I'm going to be whispering with this and everything. It'll probably look just like this because I'll do it on my laptop. So everything can be, unison and all that. But yeah. Anyways, on to the honorable mentions. I don't have anything listed. I'll just mention movies I like from this list. Alright. I'm going to move the mic. Just a little bit so I can use the mouse and I can kind of talk to you guys about it, because I have my monitors over on these on the side over here. Okay, I mentioned the honorable mentions from that. And man, I thought was funny. Okay, so for Phase 3, look, Age of Ultron, I thought it was cool. Basically, Tony invented this robot. It's a long story, but basically, what happens in Age of Ultron? They get the staff, and then they try and understand the inner workings of the staff. But then the staff fuses with Jarvis and creates this AI. He kills him. Quick kills him. Jarvis fuses becomes like Ultron, the Ultron Protocol, and learns everything about the or learns everything about like human history, and like basically hypothesizes, well, you guys need to die because you guys are gonna ultimately kill yourself, so you might as well die now, and it becomes this really big thing. If I'm mischaracterizing these movies, please let me know. If I'm missing out on important details, put it in the comments section below. Ant-Man, it's not that important. Look, I like Ant-Man, but we can skip over it. It's fine. Okay. Spider-Man: Homecoming, good movie. Didn't care for it that much when it came out, only because Tom Holland. They're introducing a new Spider-Man. I am a Tobey Maguire supremacist. I shouldn't use the word supremacist, but you get what I mean. I like Tobey Maguire the best out of all the Spider-Man, which is why when they did No Way Home, I was like, thank you. Anyways, Black Panther is a good movie, but I'm not a big Black Panther fan. And the whole, like, colonist, like, white people are bad, like, slavery, we went through that, like, that undertone in the movie I'm not a big fan of, but I did like all the action, and I thought it was a good, well-directed movie. Infinity War, obviously I really like Infinity War, but it's very sad considering the contents of Infinity War. Ant-Man and the Wasp, like I said, I'm not too big on the Ant-Man movies. They're good and they're okay, but it's like, I'm not like rooting for Ant-Man and the Wasp. I kind of watched it and I'm mildly entertained the whole way through. Captain Marvel. If you like Captain Marvel, fight me in the comment section. Tell me why it's a good movie, because it is absolute booty. Booty. I do not like it at all. Avengers Endgame is good for very obvious reasons. If you don't like Avengers Endgame, then we can't talk. We cannot be friends. I already went over that. Far From Home is a good movie. I like this a lot more than the original Spider-Man. Like the original, like Homecoming, I like it more than that. Not original, like first trilogy of movies. No, those are epic movies. Okay. Okay, now the Multiverse Saga Phase 4. Do I want to? Okay, this is almost 30 minutes or 40 minutes long. Do I need to get into the Multiverse Saga and then Phase 5 and Phase 6? Okay. I will do the last 3 phases up to. I'll make this a part of the part 2. Let me move this mic again. If you want me to do the next, 3 phases? Yeah, the next 3 phases, and give a better in-depth explanation as to why I don't really, what I think of those movies. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you want? Because if you don't tell me, I'm not gonna know. Someone suggested I do this. Hopefully you liked your request, good sir. And I've done a good job at entertaining you, and all of you. And hopefully you guys are very relaxed and you're calm. And there's not too much background noise, and hopefully nothing as hopefully you're very relaxed. So, like I said, if you'd like to support me, please just like, comment, subscribe. That's all the support I need from you guys. Boost these videos up, let YouTube know that you like them and that they're good videos. But I always have the link to my chip jar, which is just like a PayPal link. If you guys feel like you can, if you want to be a little more generous, don't ever feel like you have to, but I always have it there for in case you want to. But thank you guys for watching. Go check out some of my other videos, some of my other content, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you guys have a great rest of your day.